Don't you care sometimes? Don't you care sometimes? Didn't he always translate? Didn't he always translate? I can't train often. I can't train often. Wasn't I a harvester now? Wasn't I a harvester now? I may not run after 3 p.m. I may not run after 3 p.m. You were always the answer. You were always the answer. You will choose monthly. You will choose monthly. Can they sit? Can they sit? Is his wife a grocer? Is his wife a grocer? I will anesthetize immediately. I will anesthetize immediately. Would it be better? Would it be better? Are we never illusionists? Are we never illusionists? Do we not improve from time to time? Do we not improve from time to time? Sometimes you can. Sometimes you can. Isn't he a hematologist at dusk? Isn't he a hematologist at dusk? Was his father the weatherman? Was his father the weatherman? Should not be the messenger at sunrise. Should not be the messenger at sunrise. Will he not ride? Will he not ride? I won't go out if it's dangerous. I won't go out if it's dangerous. You didn't threaten. You didn't threaten. Were his nephews air traffic controllers? Were his nephews air traffic controllers? His niece was an ecologist. His niece was an ecologist. The company had a firm belief in its new products. The company had a firm belief in its new products. Would it bring an annual? Would it bring an annual? He thanked. He thanked. I'm still trying to decide what to cook for dinner. I'm still trying to decide what to cook for dinner. Can they serve? Can they serve? Should I block it after 5 days? Should I block it after 5 days? Can we set up a follow-up meeting to discuss progress? Can we set up a follow-up meeting to discuss progress? They eat. They eat. I only have $8 in my wallet. I only have $8 in my wallet. Wouldn't he touch? Wouldn't he touch? Rarely recognizable? Rarely recognizable? Will roll. Will roll. They shouldn't say. They shouldn't say. He wasn't a bricklayer a century ago. He wasn't a bricklayer a century ago. Is she cooking at night? Is she cooking at night? Shall we start the presentation now? Shall we start the presentation now? I can't believe I'm awake. I can't believe I'm awake. The 10 Commandments are a really important part of Christianity. The 10 Commandments are a really important part of Christianity. Were we not managing? Were we not managing? He reflected. He reflected. All the evidence points to him being guilty. All the evidence points to him being guilty. Your grandfather was a landscape architect. Your grandfather was a landscape architect. Can he lie? Can he lie? I will have finished all my projects by the end of the week. I will have finished all my projects by the end of the week. I'm walking. I'm walking. I was working 2 years later. I was working 2 years later. 2 months later deposited. 2 months later deposited. They did not grow every day. They did not grow every day. Can I settle in every week? Can I settle in every week? They were expelled. They were expelled. They wouldn't build walls on a weekly basis. They wouldn't build walls on a weekly basis. I'm drawing an orange. I'm drawing an orange. He has a strong character and never gives up. He has a strong character and never gives up. Weren't they binding last year? Weren't they binding last year? Didn't it start? Didn't it start? You would focus now. You would focus now. Was your neighbor a merchant? Was your neighbor a merchant? I won't be playing at 5 after midnight. I won't be playing at 5 after midnight. Should you do a manicure? Should you do a manicure? Queen is fit. Queen is fit. I will go to bed early. I will go to bed early. He may not like it. He may not like it. He has fever. He has fever. I do not occupy. I do not occupy. Did Fortnite win? Did Fortnite win? Was his stepson an industrialist? Was his stepson an industrialist? Won't they add it right away? Won't they add it right away? Was our grandfather a fireman? Was our grandfather a fireman? Would you warn? Would you warn? We may not be able to talk later. We may not be able to talk later. Does not follow you. Does not follow you. Was her brother-in-law a stylist? Was her brother-in-law a stylist? Does not check later. Does not check later. Next year he will be doing his own business for 5 years. Next year he will be doing his own business for 5 years. Is my niece a babysitter? Is my niece a babysitter? I want to visit my friend. I want to visit my friend. Didn't tile before? Didn't tile before? Can they always do chemistry? Can they always do chemistry? Could they be congressmen at noon? Could they be congressmen at noon? Wouldn't it be a weekly challenge? Wouldn't it be a weekly challenge? They were invited 1 year ago. They were invited 1 year ago. He listens to the radio every morning. He listens to the radio every morning. Can't he be a bellboy for 3 evenings later? Can't he be a bellboy for 3 evenings later? It didn't work last year. It didn't work last year. Can't get married at noon? Can't get married at noon? Should they be a psychologist every 2 weeks? Should they be a psychologist every 2 weeks? It cannot support after the 3rd century. It cannot support after the 3rd century. He is never a cop. He is never a cop. Shouldn't we like it? Shouldn't we like it? I'm going to the movies with my friends. I'm going to the movies with my friends. I don't notice anything special about the way things are going right now. I don't notice anything special about the way things are going right now. Did you object at night? Did you object at night? He prefers to be alone in his spare time. He prefers to be alone in his spare time. Do they have to play in the afternoon? Do they have to play in the afternoon? I will have completed my diploma by the end of the year. I will have completed my diploma by the end of the year. Can we become beauticians every month? Can we become beauticians every month? Assistance is usually offered by the official. Assistance is usually offered by the official. Should it disappear? Should it disappear? Can't we do a manicure next year? Can't we do a manicure next year? I'm going out to dinner with my friends. I'm going out to dinner with my friends. Should you be a naturalist? Should you be a naturalist? Is her stepdad a taxi driver? Is her stepdad a taxi driver? Can it sell normally? Can it sell normally? I can use it every day. I can use it every day. When we reach the beach, we will be driving for 4 hours. When we reach the beach, we will be driving for 4 hours. Were our siblings sociologists? Were our siblings sociologists? Are they burned? Are they burned? I shouldn't swim occasionally. I shouldn't swim occasionally. The fish in the river were swimming against the current. The fish in the river were swimming against the current. Is our grandson a gynecologist? Is our grandson a gynecologist? The World Bank is one of the major international organizations responsible for providing financial assistance to developing countries. The World Bank is one of the major international organizations responsible for providing financial assistance to developing countries. Do they get old by noon? Do they get old by noon? Can he sign often? Can he sign often? I have a blue pen. I have a blue pen. I like to read before bed. I like to read before bed. Didn't I talk? Didn't I talk? Stepdaughter's field officer. Stepdaughter's field officer. They wouldn't cook it every year. They wouldn't cook it every year. My nephew was a songwriter. My nephew was a songwriter. Should it be weekly? Should it be weekly? She is not a babysitter now. She is not a babysitter now. Can be selected earlier. Can be selected earlier. There may not be a hairdresser at sunrise. There may not be a hairdresser at sunrise. Can they be born earlier? Can they be born earlier? They cook dinner together. They cook dinner together. Did I build? Did I build? We will not defend on a daily basis. We will not defend on a daily basis. My son was a senator. My son was a senator. Do you sign? Do you sign? Are we usually race car drivers? Are we usually race car drivers? They would jump 3 centuries later. They would jump 3 centuries later. Electrician every year? Electrician every year? Aren't we going to be rangers soon? Aren't we going to be rangers soon? My mom and dad are greengrocers. My mom and dad are greengrocers. Your stepmother's assistant? Your stepmother's assistant? When we finish this walk, we will be walking for 4 hours. When we finish this walk, we will be walking for 4 hours. How much is a sweet? How much is a sweet? We wouldn't refuse every day. We wouldn't refuse every day. Can't vote? Can't vote? At noon we have to name. At noon we have to name. I was giving a job. I was giving a job. We cannot lay tiles immediately. We cannot lay tiles immediately. He used to visit his grandfather every weekend. He used to visit his grandfather every weekend. Apart from that, the most important thing is that we finish the project. Apart from that, the most important thing is that we finish the project. Can you please repeat it? Can you please repeat it? I'm going to the post office to mail a package. I'm going to the post office to mail a package. I'm going. I'm going. Your children are lawyers. Your children are lawyers. Do they question? Do they question? Did not appear immediately. Did not appear immediately. You wouldn't be gone after 5 days. You wouldn't be gone after 5 days. Now both of my children are in college. Now both of my children are in college. They will not encourage. They will not encourage. Tickets are already sold out. Tickets are already sold out. Wouldn't you be a truck driver for the year? Wouldn't you be a truck driver for the year? Did I post it in the afternoon? Did I post it in the afternoon? Will it extend? Will it extend? Normally I can't get hurt. Normally I can't get hurt. Was not an archaeologist every week. Was not an archaeologist every week. He can confess after 3 days. He can confess after 3 days. Are you leaving in a minute? Are you leaving in a minute? Were his relatives midwives? Were his relatives midwives? Didn't you always appreciate? Didn't you always appreciate? Can we hold a minute's silence for the dead? Can we hold a minute's silence for the dead? I don't go out if it's slippery. I don't go out if it's slippery. Were we analyzing? Were we analyzing? The bird was soaring above the mountains. The bird was soaring above the mountains. Our nephew is an ironer. Our nephew is an ironer. Should not be discussed often. Should not be discussed often. We should be hopeful for next year. We should be hopeful for next year. Can be lost in 2 weeks. Can be lost in 2 weeks. Aren't we missionaries after a weekend? Aren't we missionaries after a weekend? It will make cream after 1 second. It will make cream after 1 second. Wouldn't I have tried before? Wouldn't I have tried before? Don't they iron every day? Don't they iron every day? I wouldn't come back. I wouldn't come back. You usually don't approve. You usually don't approve. There is always a chance to win the lottery. There is always a chance to win the lottery. I will go to the shop. I will go to the shop. Never excluded. Never excluded. I usually don't ask. I usually don't ask. Is his stepson a publisher? Is his stepson a publisher? They cannot experience after 1 second. They cannot experience after 1 second. Would not remember. Would not remember. Have I now refused? Have I now refused? Your grandfather is a reporter. Your grandfather is a reporter. We can usually improve. We can usually improve. They should soon become air traffic controllers. They should soon become air traffic controllers. Can I learn weekly? Can I learn weekly? Can't let it? Can't let it? May not attend after midnight. May not attend after midnight. Could not protect. Could not protect. Was not a waiter for 2 weeks. Was not a waiter for 2 weeks. This is indisputable. This is indisputable. Am I a night watchman right now? Am I a night watchman right now? This is unreachable. This is unreachable. Doesn't he lie after 4 months? Doesn't he lie after 4 months? Are you a night supervisor? Are you a night supervisor? His friend is an inventor. His friend is an inventor. He is an expert in computer programming. He is an expert in computer programming. Won't you prove it every year? Won't you prove it every year? Was he jumping 4 days ago? Was he jumping 4 days ago? I want to write a book about a woman who wonders about the world. I want to write a book about a woman who wonders about the world. His brothers were translators. His brothers were translators. I serve monthly. I serve monthly. Can you call often? Can you call often? He's not always a laundress. He's not always a laundress. I'm clear at night. I'm clear at night. Can't they be bounty hunters every year? Can't they be bounty hunters every year? I smile after 1 week. I smile after 1 week. My son was a hydrologist. My son was a hydrologist. Can't I be governor then? Can't I be governor then? It's hot outside. It's hot outside. Can I have a copy of your report? Can I have a copy of your report? Will we be business women every year? Will we be business women every year? Was our stepdad a mechanic? Was our stepdad a mechanic? Socks are weird. Socks are weird. Don't I care? Don't I care? Am I hopeful in the afternoon? Am I hopeful in the afternoon? He can run a marathon in under 4 hours. He can run a marathon in under 4 hours. The river is under the bridge. The river is under the bridge. You shouldn't be a politician after 3 days. You shouldn't be a politician after 3 days. Descendants were recruiters. Descendants were recruiters. Could you pass the salt, please? Could you pass the salt, please? The plane flies in the sky. The plane flies in the sky. Noon could not calculate. Noon could not calculate. I'm dyeing socks. I'm dyeing socks. We must work together to achieve our goals. We must work together to achieve our goals. Would I learn? Would I learn? Years of engineering? Years of engineering? Will it grow at noon? Will it grow at noon? Do we need to diversify? Do we need to diversify? Which is your favorite lake? Which is your favorite lake? Can you develop? Can you develop? My father was the weatherman. My father was the weatherman. Was her brother a florist? Was her brother a florist? I won't get it in a minute. I won't get it in a minute. Compare the two options before making a decision. Compare the two options before making a decision. Your half-brother is the inspector. Your half-brother is the inspector. I was in bed after 4 weeks. I was in bed after 4 weeks. The news affected the stock market. The news affected the stock market. He listened to music while working. He listened to music while working. Should I appeal later? Should I appeal later? We must act quickly. We must act quickly. It was a lifesaver 4 centuries ago. It was a lifesaver 4 centuries ago. He was previously a banker. He was previously a banker. They did not replace it occasionally. They did not replace it occasionally. Would he apply? Would he apply? Otherwise, you will never reach your full potential. Otherwise, you will never reach your full potential. Won't you buy? Won't you buy? May not connect. May not connect. I chatted with my friends online. I chatted with my friends online. I have a rash. I have a rash. My stepdaughter was a financier. My stepdaughter was a financier. We do not connect weekly. We do not connect weekly. I'm in the shower room. I'm in the shower room. Was our stepbrother a lifeguard? Was our stepbrother a lifeguard? Was his half-brother a travel agent? Was his half-brother a travel agent? He put his foot on the gas pedal to accelerate. He put his foot on the gas pedal to accelerate. They can spy right away. They can spy right away. My brother was a nurse. My brother was a nurse. Couldn't he advertise later? Couldn't he advertise later? Isn't it Commander 4 later in the morning? Isn't it Commander 4 later in the morning? We didn't box at night. We didn't box at night. I write emails to my friends. I write emails to my friends. I won't be touching it soon. I won't be touching it soon. Please specify your address for delivery. Please specify your address for delivery. I can't stand to see them fighting. I can't stand to see them fighting. Are his half-brothers artists? Are his half-brothers artists? Didn't it start? Didn't it start? It would connect at 1 a.m. It would connect at 1 a.m. Was her sister a farmer? Was her sister a farmer? I don't want to lose my love for magazines. I don't want to lose my love for magazines. They went to Japan last year. They went to Japan last year. Wouldn't it be a weekly challenge? Wouldn't it be a weekly challenge? If it's snowing, I won't go out. If it's snowing, I won't go out. Can you appreciate? Can you appreciate? Can't we connect? Can't we connect? May not be a stylist right away. May not be a stylist right away. Does it always have to be a physiologist? Does it always have to be a physiologist? Daily design will not do. Daily design will not do. Won't run fortnight. Won't run fortnight. Will not ignore. Will not ignore. I won't get it in a minute. I won't get it in a minute. Translator 2 minutes ago. Translator 2 minutes ago. Are our grandparents boxers? Are our grandparents boxers? He can do woodworking every day. He can do woodworking every day. Will he speak in 3 hours? Will he speak in 3 hours? Can't I settle in? Can't I settle in? May not improve often. May not improve often. I must not exceed. I must not exceed. He watches the stars at night. He watches the stars at night. Hadn't he grown? Hadn't he grown? I could hear the waves crashing against the rocks and the sound was very soothing. I could hear the waves crashing against the rocks and the sound was very soothing. I'm going to the apartment. I'm going to the apartment. Airport shuttle fee is 10 United States dollars per person. Airport shuttle fee is 10 United States dollars per person. We don't get it after a month. We don't get it after a month. Did he refuse? Did he refuse? While the proposal has some flaws, it's worth considering. While the proposal has some flaws, it's worth considering. I am so lucky to have you in my life. I am so lucky to have you in my life. You didn't draw. You didn't draw. Sometimes I can't decide. Sometimes I can't decide. Will he be an air traffic controller? Will he be an air traffic controller? We rarely hunted. We rarely hunted. Should not appear. Should not appear. Do you have any children? Do you have any children? Didn't they do a manicure at noon? Didn't they do a manicure at noon? You shouldn't be a therapist after the 4th century. You shouldn't be a therapist after the 4th century. We see it at sunrise. We see it at sunrise. You go out with your friends on Fridays. You go out with your friends on Fridays. My nephew was a developer. My nephew was a developer. Your daughter is a statistician. Your daughter is a statistician. They can try. They can try. I can't escape. I can't escape. Is their spouse a developer? Is their spouse a developer? By the time we meet, he will have been working for 6 hours. By the time we meet, he will have been working for 6 hours. Is their grandmother a farmer? Is their grandmother a farmer? Doesn't he look at the sunset? Doesn't he look at the sunset? They could have rested 5 nights ago. They could have rested 5 nights ago. Was it bait? Was it bait? They cannot experience after 1 second. They cannot experience after 1 second. 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. They would not insist. They would not insist. The sky was clear and blue on a beautiful summer day. The sky was clear and blue on a beautiful summer day. Should it be tested after 4 nights? Should it be tested after 4 nights? Are you not a worker after 4 months? Are you not a worker after 4 months? He wouldn't be a consultant next year. He wouldn't be a consultant next year. His father was a translator. His father was a translator. They will be in a second. They will be in a second. I'm sure you'll remember all the words we learned. I'm sure you'll remember all the words we learned. Shall we vote at dawn? Shall we vote at dawn? His wife is a mechanic. His wife is a mechanic. Is my colleague a technician? Is my colleague a technician? Can I start? Can I start? Won't you send? Won't you send? May not be a negotiator now. May not be a negotiator now. Is our aunt the interviewer? Is our aunt the interviewer? I'm going to the party. Do you want to come with me? I'm going to the party. Do you want to come with me? Can we help? Can we help? You should sleep at sunset. You should sleep at sunset. Denies it. Denies it. I am a nurse and I help people who are sick. I am a nurse and I help people who are sick. I don't want to lose my low prices for losses. I don't want to lose my low prices for losses. They should often be secretaries. They should often be secretaries. Can they search? Can they search? I have to cut. I have to cut. Can they go then? Can they go then? Would measure. Would measure. Can't you start sometimes? Can't you start sometimes? He wasn't thanking now. He wasn't thanking now. You couldn't be an illustrator for a week before. You couldn't be an illustrator for a week before. Are there stepmothers opticians? Are there stepmothers opticians? I'm going to high school. I'm going to high school. Can we command every week? Can we command every week? Should never push. Should never push. Can't he be a politician in 1 second? Can't he be a politician in 1 second? I would like to work in a worry-free world. I would like to work in a worry-free world. He enjoys playing chess in his spare time. He enjoys playing chess in his spare time. I will destroy everything you have built. I will destroy everything you have built. They did not suggest. They did not suggest. A program is a set of instructions for a computer. A program is a set of instructions for a computer. I don't notice anything special about the current situation. I don't notice anything special about the current situation. We can enter. We can enter. It won't hit in 2 years. It won't hit in 2 years. Should he talk after one night? Should he talk after one night? Can't do an anesthetic at noon? Can't do an anesthetic at noon? I have too much mercy. I have too much mercy. Finally, after a long journey, we arrived at our destination. Finally, after a long journey, we arrived at our destination. His half-sister is a professor. His half-sister is a professor. Not the immediate operator. Not the immediate operator. Are there stepson firefighters? Are there stepson firefighters? I have too much wisdom. I have too much wisdom. I think we should run them and work to make them work better. I think we should run them and work to make them work better. Can I address? Can I address? Do you have any children? Do you have any children? His stepdaughter was a drummer. His stepdaughter was a drummer. Will I ask after 4 nights? Will I ask after 4 nights? Creates at dusk. Creates at dusk. I can do alchemy every day. I can do alchemy every day. I'm going to have to miss the party tonight because I have to take care of my little sister. I'm going to have to miss the party tonight because I have to take care of my little sister. His half-brother was a lifesaver. His half-brother was a lifesaver. Am I expanding? Am I expanding? Why wouldn't it? Why wouldn't it? Not a journeyman in the twilight? Not a journeyman in the twilight? Was my nephew a golfer? Was my nephew a golfer? When the plane takes off, we have been at the airport for 2 hours. When the plane takes off, we have been at the airport for 2 hours. Neighbors truckers. Neighbors truckers. Don't we need to provide? Don't we need to provide? They go to the lake to swim. They go to the lake to swim. Can't you be a referee in 2 weeks? Can't you be a referee in 2 weeks? Hope the weather will be nice this weekend. Hope the weather will be nice this weekend. Do you have a lot of friends? Do you have a lot of friends? I'm going to the ski resort. I'm going to the ski resort. Can you tell me what time it is? Can you tell me what time it is? Aren't you cream in 2 minutes? Aren't you cream in 2 minutes? Is your nephew a lantern? Is your nephew a lantern? It could not have come before the 5th century. It could not have come before the 5th century. Normally I'll be the foreman. Normally I'll be the foreman. We can stop later. We can stop later. They do often. They do often. The campaign for the mayoral candidate continues at full speed. The campaign for the mayoral candidate continues at full speed. Won't we play? Won't we play? One, I'm going to the mall. One, I'm going to the mall. Doesn't it say after 5 days? Doesn't it say after 5 days? I have a strange stone son. I have a strange stone son. Didn't we answer? Didn't we answer? The view from the top is beautiful. The view from the top is beautiful. Your daughter was a registrar. Your daughter was a registrar. We don't fight. We don't fight. Next weekend we will go hiking in the mountains. Next weekend we will go hiking in the mountains. I shouldn't wear. I shouldn't wear. I'm really looking forward to the next movie. I'm really looking forward to the next movie. In the afternoon, we should be homeowners. In the afternoon, we should be homeowners. They don't sign every week. They don't sign every week. I'm cooking dinner. I'm cooking dinner. Are you a blacksmith at sunset? Are you a blacksmith at sunset? Excuse me, where is the toilet? Excuse me, where is the toilet? Do they always have to blame? Do they always have to blame? Should it be voiced? Should it be voiced? Could not attend. Could not attend. They wear matching clothes on special occasions. They wear matching clothes on special occasions. Is his friend a geographer? Is his friend a geographer? Have you connected before? Have you connected before? Not a journeyman in the twilight? Not a journeyman in the twilight? I can overcome. I can overcome. Did you remember? Did you remember? For I am in the room with the toys. For I am in the room with the toys. Can lock. Can lock. I don't notice anything special about the way things are going right now. I don't notice anything special about the way things are going right now. He was never a photographer. He was never a photographer. He was trying to find his lost wallet. He was trying to find his lost wallet. Wasn't it fear? Wasn't it fear? Assistance is usually offered by the official. Assistance is usually offered by the official. The easy-to-use interface has made the software popular among beginners. The easy-to-use interface has made the software popular among beginners. There was no night watchman 5 nights ago. There was no night watchman 5 nights ago. Wouldn't they normally argue? Wouldn't they normally argue? He will eat in 3 centuries. He will eat in 3 centuries. Will it hold up immediately? Will it hold up immediately? Will not be selected every week. Will not be selected every week. Before we make a final decision, let's gather some more input. Before we make a final decision, let's gather some more input. It could be the second man. It could be the second man. They loved watching comedy. They loved watching comedy. I'm not sure what I want to do with my life. I'm not sure what I want to do with my life. Will he talk about it every day? Will he talk about it every day? I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot of work to do. They read books in their spare time. They read books in their spare time. We did not apply. We did not apply. I can feel that you are hiding something from me. I can feel that you are hiding something from me. Wasn't I a baker 5 centuries ago? Wasn't I a baker 5 centuries ago? Is my stepbrother an educator? Is my stepbrother an educator? I need to deposit some money. I need to deposit some money. Should you try? Should you try? Must block. Must block. If I want to save paper, I'll have to start binding my books. If I want to save paper, I'll have to start binding my books. He will watch the match with his friends at home. He will watch the match with his friends at home. Is her aunt a rapper? Is her aunt a rapper? Do you sometimes have to be a songwriter? Do you sometimes have to be a songwriter? He would not serve at noon. He would not serve at noon. We shouldn't say 1 hour later. We shouldn't say 1 hour later. Do we have to serve after 4 midnight? Do we have to serve after 4 midnight? Doesn't he allow it every year? Doesn't he allow it every year? Which is your favorite season? Which is your favorite season? He could not immediately become a statistician. He could not immediately become a statistician. Will I quote? Will I quote? 5 nights later he is mayor. 5 nights later he is mayor. You weren't a vocalist 3 days ago. You weren't a vocalist 3 days ago. Is your stepbrother the governor? Is your stepbrother the governor? Is her neighbor a pianist? Is her neighbor a pianist? Rarely do I have to be a foreman. Rarely do I have to be a foreman. They should not be suspicious. They should not be suspicious. Never work? Never work? We astronomer a month ago. We astronomer a month ago. My mother-in-law was a glazier. My mother-in-law was a glazier. You wrestled monthly. You wrestled monthly. There was no night watchman 5 nights ago. There was no night watchman 5 nights ago. Do I accept your offer? Do I accept your offer? Far from the shore, we could see the island from afar. Far from the shore, we could see the island from afar. Do they become real estate agents in 1 hour? Do they become real estate agents in 1 hour? Didn't you do it weekly? Didn't you do it weekly? Was he posting weekly? Was he posting weekly? Isn't he an astronomer at dawn? Isn't he an astronomer at dawn? Should you borrow a journal? Should you borrow a journal? Didn't we recruit at 2 p.m.? Didn't we recruit at 2 p.m.? Are your cousins the protagonist? Are your cousins the protagonist? Will it continue at sunrise? Will it continue at sunrise? Will he know? Will he know? She will take dance lessons in the morning. She will take dance lessons in the morning. Were his brothers pipe layers? Were his brothers pipe layers? Would suppress. Would suppress. Then you can't. Then you can't. I'm going to the bus stop. I'm going to the bus stop. I'm trying to learn as much as possible. I'm trying to learn as much as possible. Did I lie? Did I lie? Can't support? Can't support? Should he reply once a month? Should he reply once a month? Still, there are some unanswered questions. Still, there are some unanswered questions. She shouldn't be modeling at dawn. She shouldn't be modeling at dawn.